guys, today we're going to be looking at the Laverkin playground. This playground was built circa 2003, and today we're going to be looking at all its components and evaluating it for you. So at the beginning of our journey, we have a cheese climb. It's a very simple piece of work, just some simple plastic with some holes cut into it so that children can put their fingers into the holes. The holes have varying shapes to allow for different levels of difficulty as the children grab at different angles and put their feet down here. It's as simple as just grabbing a piece and hoisting yourself up. Very easy for the first step of the journey. As simple as that. So over here we have a very interesting piece of playground machinery. It's something I've never seen before. It's some sort of dumbbell-esque play on monkey bars. I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to go about getting from over here to hanging on to here. It's a little tricky. It doesn't hold very sturdy. It's kind of an interesting piece of work. I'm not sure what they were going for here. This part's probably the weakest section of the whole playground, but overall it doesn't do anything that's going to damage your entire experience. So next up we got very standard, just simple, your everyday triangular monkey bars that go in a simple curve. It's very easy, we've seen this a million times before. It's simple, it's effective, it gets the job done. It's a nice play on monkey bars, a bit more interesting than just a straight line. You get more ways to grab rather than just a standard like this. So next up we have your average toadstools. Here we have some toadstools that, as you can see, these ones here have some give to them to kind of give a bit of extra challenge. They wiggle around a bit. Obviously an intentional thing. They've got some nice grip on the top to stop your feet from slipping. So even if it's rainy, you won't be falling off anytime soon. These things are very nice for just like a simple, easy challenge for the lower skilled kids. And it's just real simple. On to the next item. So next up we got another segment of triangular monkey bars, this time in a desk curve. This is a bit less creative as we just went past a section that was just a single curve. But you know, I mean, you only have so many pieces to work with when you're on a budget such as this. So next up we got a pyramid of power. These are one of my personal favorite machines. I love climbing up on the top. It presents a really unique opportunity for kids to battle their way to the top. Whoever reaches the top first and can hold their position is the king of the pyramid of power. As you can see, there's multiple ways to reach up. You can climb up the back using a sort of staircase ladder type machine. It's very nice. I quite like this part. It's very simple, very effective, a great way to get kids playing. Alright, so next up we got some rotating anchored toadstools. These are very cool. These provide a moderate challenge while not being too inaccessible for any of the kids who are less fit. They provide a nice way to provide some unstable ground while not being too unsafe, as you're only so far from the ground. It's a great way to grab on and have some fun. These are very well built. They got some nice chains on the bottom. You can tell they're not going to snap anytime soon. Really easy to replace, easy to maintain. This is a great piece of machinery. Alright, so next up we got some wobbly footsteps. These are pretty cool. They're a little wobbly, but honestly, it's not really anything too special. It doesn't feel very nice to go across. There's nothing to hold on to. It's just kind of off. Overall, this part isn't very impressive. It's just boring, a little too easy, and it's just a little nice intro, segue part into the next section. Alright, so next up we got, I personally don't like these things, but I know some other people enjoy them. We got some overhead spinners. These are real simple. Going across them is just as simple as like any other monkey bar, but it's a little loose. You can kind of hold on and spin yourself. But I find when you're hanging on, the weight just doesn't make them spin as well as when there's no weight. I don't find these things very fun. They feel a little loose. The whole bar feels like it's about to come off. Feels like it might need some maintenance. So Laverkin, you might want to get on that. So next up we got some bars. They're just bars. It's a little boring. I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to come at it. Are you supposed to walk on top or hang below? I don't entirely understand. It's kind of weird. I don't really see how you would go from one to the next like very easily. Maybe one of the kids around here knows. Maybe I could ask them, but it doesn't really make any sense to me. Yeah. Alright, next up we have an interesting play on monkey bars. I quite like this. As you can see, it's monkey bars, but instead of just simple bars, they're handles with varying angles. This provides some interesting variety while you're going across. It gives you different grips. You can angle at different ones. Sometimes you're hanging below, sometimes you're grabbing above. It's quite interesting. I quite like it. It's very inventive. Overall, it's A+ for me. So next up, we got some sort of wobbly tightrope-esque thing. As you can see, it wobbles. This is very difficult for me. This is quite tricky. This is high-level playground machinery. As you can see, even I have a hard time maintaining my balance on here, and I'm a very experienced park goer. This is very advanced. I quite like it. It's pretty cool. It's got some nice give to it, while not feeling like it's gonna break at any moment. It's very nice. I like it. So here we got a pull-up simulator. Interesting piece of machinery. As you can see, when you pull these bars down, the seat lifts up. It's a very fun way to kind of get your balance, kind of get your wiggles out. I can see this being very effective for young children who just have a lot of energy that want to work it out. Alright, here we have another play on monkey bars. I quite like the variety of monkey bars in this playground. This one here has a slightly different grip with two sides, and it wiggles a little bit, as you can see, just like the tightrope earlier. It's quite cool. It provides an interesting dynamic as your weight shifts when you're moving from one bar to the next. It'll move over and over, almost like you're on a ship at sea. As you can see, here we have a tap dance simulator. This is much like the pull-up simulator, except it's for more of a leg workout rather than an arm workout. It's a very unique piece of machinery. Again, very good for kids who have a lot of energy. It's kind of an interesting one. I've never seen anything quite like this. As you can see, if you come over here, you can see it's actually powered by just a piece of metal that's bending, which means that over time, that metal's going to be more and more used, and it's going to be softer and more bouncy. It's an interesting idea, and I'll be interested to see how it holds up in, say, 10 years. As you can see here, we have another style of monkey bar here. This time they're handles on swings. This is very interesting. It provides a sort of momentum game as you move from one bar to the next. You have to swing your body. It becomes a full body motion rather than just an arm going as fast as you can. It becomes an interesting dynamic. So as you can see, we've reached the end of the long journey, and now your reward is the main tower. It's got quite a few pieces on it, so let's dig right in. So first up, we have a nice mermaid tail slide. It's very simple, great for little kids. It's a very short slide, very wide, not much risk of accident. It's a nice overall solid piece of machinery. Nothing special, but it works. All right, so here we have alternative methods of getting up to the main tower, rather than the standard stairs, which this does have as well. You also have two forms of little step ladders that you can grab. Now, what's interesting about these is that these single steps contain both handles and steps. It's a very creative way of integrating a ladder style design with utility and function and safety. And over here we have the standard coil snake climber. These are always weird to me. I've always found them weird. I've never really found them very fun to climb up. They feel awkward due to the angle of the curl. But, you know, they work. A lot of kids climb up them. Sometimes kids like to climb down inside of them. It can get stuck. It's a little dangerous, but it works. It's another way to get up. It's cool looking, and sometimes that's all that matters. So here we have a hybrid ladder staircase, step ladder kind of thing. These are very interesting. They curve, as you can see. It goes from a ladder shape over to just more of an inverse monkey bar style. I like these quite a bit. They're a lot of fun to climb up and go back down, and they're really simple and effective at what they do. As you can see over this way, underneath the bridge, we have a braided chain. This is a nice way of, it's a bit more interesting than just a simple ladder. It's visually interesting, but mechanically it's nothing too special. It's just a matter of just grabbing and climbing, and that's pretty much it. It's not really anything special, but it looks cool, and that's what's nice. So here we have a standard subterranean phone. My experience is these things tend to not work because kids will shove wood chips down and they get clogged over time. But this one is in perfectly working condition. It's quite cool. Check it out.
Hello.
This is always one of my favorite parts of playgrounds, the big top. This makes you feel like you're the king of the playground. It's the highest point, and it has a nice protective shelter for bad weather and from pesky kids. It's got a nice echo to it. It's very nice. This one's cool, but I wish the colors were a bit more interesting. Sometimes, you know, they have a carnival big top for these. This one's just a standard khaki brown. Not very interesting, but I still like the effect. I can't get enough of this. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit, then I'll slide. So I'm going to talk, and then I'll slide, and when I reach the bottom, I'm going to keep talking.
Okay, I'm recording right now, so just start whenever.
Okay. All right. So here we have your standard spiral slide. This is a very simple thing. It's a staple of playgrounds. You can see them all over the place. These things are generally a little awkward. They're a little small. Your legs oftentimes get a little twisted. They're great for small children, but ages 10 and up might be a little too awkward for them to go down comfortably. So as always with most playgrounds, you have swings. As you can see, this one has 3 sets of swings. The other 2 are just standard, you know, just normal person swings. And of course, usual baby swings for young children. What's interesting about this one is that you can actually see there's a missing swing, which raises some questions about how a baby swing got taken off. Was it broken? Did something bad happen? Why is it taken off? But the other one's still here. It seems to be in perfectly working condition. Let's talk about difficulty. In our run, we touched the wood chips 4 times going around the circle. Once here as part of the dumbbells, and once at the end. These don't make any sense. How is anybody going to get past that without touching the ground? We managed to make it past here without touching the ground, but we touched once again after the toadstools over here. The gap is just too large to get past there without touching the wood chips. Managed to make it past the Pyramid of Power perfectly fine, but as we came over to here, we touched the ground twice more when we came over to the bars. The bars are just, these don't make any sense. It's too hard to get across without touching the ground. It's just too difficult. We managed to make it the rest of the way without touching the wood chips, but overall, as a term of like how difficult this is, I would say it's difficult, but not necessarily because of any sort of fair challenge. It's more difficult due to poor planning, poor spacing. So in terms of difficulty, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, but it's not a very fun 3 out of 5, I'll be honest. So here we have a pretty standard park play area. It's got, the grass is a little iffy. There's a lot of spots where it's a little rough. It's not very, it doesn't look like it's watered. Granted, it is the middle of April. It's not a very prime time for grass to be as green and as full as possible, but it's a little rough around the edges. There's a simple pavilion over there and a basketball court. Basic stuff. It's a little rough around the edges, but it'll get the job done when you need it. So here, the bathrooms, they're pretty standard bathrooms, just a simple brick building with a men and a women's. And I've been inside and they're pretty bad. I gotta say, somebody took silly string all over the walls. It's messy. I'm sure that's not there all the time, but the floor's dirty. It's a little dingy. I felt some spider webs on my arm when I was going on. On the door, the signs for the men and the women's aren't even actual signs. They're just sharpied on, just like says men's in there in marker. It's pretty bad, but you know, if you really need to go, if it's an emergency, it'll work, but I wouldn't recommend coming here for a big bathroom break for your picnic. So attached to the bathrooms here at Laverkin Park, we have a drinking fountain, and I'm gonna be honest guys, this is one of the worst drinking fountains I've seen in a long time. As you can see, when you press it, the water goes shooting out. It just goes way too, nobody's gonna be drinking from that. And if you press it gently, it makes this loud rumbling noise. That is bad. And if you look in here, there's water that's built up here over who knows how long. There's some sort of floating stream. It looks like floss. That is disgusting. I don't want to get anywhere. I'm not putting my mouth anywhere near here. I wouldn't let my children near here. There's probably some diseases in here. This is disgusting. Laverkin City, you need to get on this right now. This is a public safety hazard.